Most kid shows make a promise that childhood lasts forever. Summer vacation loops endlessly, characters never age, problems get solved in 22-minute bites, and tomorrow always brings another adventure exactly like today. Gravity Falls broke that promise. Not with some heavy-handed lesson about responsibility or growing up. Instead, it did something much more unsettling. It gave us twins who wanted opposite things about that promise. Dipper couldn't wait for it to end. Mabel would do anything to make it last forever. And suddenly, a show about mysteries and monsters became about the most uncomfortable truth of all. Childhood ends, whether you're ready or not. Dipper really is like a lot of teenage boys out there, perhaps even your old selves, or maybe someone you know. We see his desperation to be seen as an adult through small but very clear signs.
We're 13, so technically a teen,
he tells Wendy in The Inconveniencing, stretching the truth by exactly 1 year. He wants to hang out with her older friends, wants to be part of something that feels more grown-up than another day at the Mystery Shack, and, most of all, he wants to get in her pants. But when the ghosts trap them in a convenience store, demanding to know why teenagers are so terrible, Dipper finally admits the truth.
I'm 12, technically not a teen.
And he has to do the lammy dance, a mortifying childhood act his mom used to make him perform to save everyone. This is someone who sees childhood as a cage and wants to escape it. Fast forward a few episodes to Dipper versus manliness. Stan takes one look at Dipper trying to prove himself on the manliness tester and delivers a brutal assessment.
Look, face the music, kid. You got no muscles, you smell like baby wipes. And let's not forget last Tuesday's incident.
The flashback shows Dipper in the bathroom singing Disco Girl into a comb like a microphone. It's the exact same kind of thing that every preteen does when they think no one's watching. And sometimes non-preteens too, no judgment. But for Dipper, it's evidence of everything wrong with being his age for him. He doesn't want to smell like baby wipes. He doesn't want to be caught singing pop songs. He wants to be taken seriously, trusted with real knowledge, and treated like he can handle adult problems. Mabel, however, is living in an entirely different relationship with time. She's the one who instantly bonds with Waddles the pig in The Time Traveler's Pig, determining his oink as him saying either Mabel or doorbell and taking it as a sign that they belong together. She's the one who starts random dance parties for no reason, who celebrates everything weird, everything that's wonderful, and every awesome moment of summer like it might be the last. When Dipper asks if she's ever wished that she could undo a mistake, Mabel's response is immediate.
Nope, I do everything right all the time.
She sees life through a lens where every moment, even the messy ones, are exactly what they should be. These are two completely different relationships with growing up, and the show doesn't rush to tell us which one is right. But there is one theme the show does use throughout its 2 seasons to emphasize this difference. We see it when their different priorities collide, like in The Time Traveler's Pig. For context to anyone that's unaware of the show and didn't catch the previous hint, Dipper has a massive crush on Wendy, who's a bit older than him, so see why he wants to grow up now? Anyway, in the episode, the duo has acquired a time machine. Dipper has figured out the perfect timeline to win Wendy's heart by calculating the exact trajectory needed to win Wendy a stuffed animal at a fair without hurting her eye. If he hurts her eye, Robbie swoops in with a snow cone to steal the moment. It's like a Rube Goldberg masterpiece of precision that requires Mabel's help to pull off, and he needs to. Meanwhile, Mabel is busy getting a pet pig called Waddles. But there's a problem. When Dipper succeeds, because he does, Pacifica, basically Mabel's arch-enemy, wins Waddles instead. But what's the point in covering all this? Well, you'll see.
Mabel, what? I'll just wait until you're done.
The siblings' dreams directly contradict each other. Dipper's careful planning, his attempt to take control of his romantic future through changing the past, costs Mabel the one thing that made her day perfect. And the math is clear. He can have his timeline, or she can have hers. Not both. The resolution?
I couldn't break your heart, Mabel.
This sets up a pattern that will define their relationship. Again and again, Dipper chooses Mabel's happiness over his own goals. And again, Mabel doesn't quite return the favor. Until one moment. In sock opera, Bill Cipher, the magical triangle, knows exactly which button to push. When Dipper's exhausted from trying to crack the laptop password while also building puppets for Mabel's show, Bill exploits the sacrifice pattern that's been building all season. Bill possesses Dipper and puts Mabel in an impossible position: save her brother or keep the journal safe. When Bill taunts her about who would sacrifice everything for their dumb sibling, Mabel's response is immediate.
Dipper would.
She knows. She's always known. Her brother is the one who gives up what he wants for family. And then there's something both beautiful and heartbreaking about how matter-of-factly she says it. Because here's what's really happening underneath all those sacrifices. Dipper sees growing up as his path to freedom and respect, but he keeps choosing to stay in childhood for Mabel's sake. And Mabel, who wants nothing more than for things to stay exactly as they are, kept taking those sacrifices without realizing what they cost him. And then she proves that she'd do the same, choosing to save Dipper over the journal. But this single sacrifice doesn't change anything about her childhood. It can't last forever. It's not going to. By the time we reach Dipper and Mabel versus the future, that pattern has been building for nearly 2 seasons. Dipper keeps sacrificing, Mabel keeps accepting, and the summer keeps ticking towards its inevitable end. Then Ford offers Dipper exactly what he's been waiting for his entire life.
I'm getting too old to investigate Gravity Falls on my own. What would you say to staying in Gravity Falls after the summer ends and becoming my apprentice?
It's everything Dipper has wanted. Real mysteries, adult respect, a mentor who sees his potential instead of his age and trusts him with dangerous missions. This is Dipper's ticket out of childhood and into the kind of life he's dreamed about. Meanwhile, Mabel is planning their 13th birthday party and slowly watching her perfect summer fall apart. Wendy bursts her bubble about high school. It's not like the movies. It's cliques and stress and everything Mabel fears about growing up. Even her friends Candy and Grenda can't even come to the party. But the real blow comes through a walkie-talkie. Dipper is talking to Ford, accepting the apprenticeship, excited about staying in Gravity Falls, while Mabel would go home alone. And Mabel hears every word.
Well, it's a horrible opportunity for me. I had the worst day of my life. When we turn 13, the summer ends and I have to leave everything behind. You're the only person I could count on, and now you're leaving me too?
She'll later tell him. This is Mabel's worst nightmare made real. Not just that summer is ending, but that her twin, the person who's always been there for her, is choosing to leave her behind. For the first time, Dipper isn't sacrificing his dreams for her sake. He's finally choosing what he wants. And what he wants doesn't include her. The thing is, you can understand both sides completely. Dipper has spent 2 seasons putting Mabel's needs first. He deserves this chance. He's earned the right to choose his own future for once. But Mabel has spent 2 seasons assuming that whatever happened, they'd face it together. The idea that growing up might mean growing apart isn't just scary to her, it's unthinkable. So when Bill Cipher shows up disguised as Blendin Blandin, offering to help her make everything better, she makes a choice that breaks everything. She hands over the interdimensional rift. A choice made because she's emotional. She's a 12-year-old girl who just learned that the person she loves most in the world is planning to leave her behind, and someone offered her a way to make it stop hurting. Weirdmageddon happens because of that choice. Bill Cipher gets his physical form, turns Gravity Falls inside out, and traps Mabel in a prison bubble designed to give her exactly what she wants. Inside that bubble is Mabel Land. It's everything 12-year-old Mabel has ever dreamed of. The sun shines all day, the party never ends, the duck-tective is real, and there's a version of Dipper called Dippy Fresh, who's endlessly supportive and never wants anything for himself.
I like skateboarding, supporting my sister, and punctuating every sentence with a high five.
When the real Dipper, Wendy, and Seuss break in to rescue her, Mabel doesn't want to be saved. She tells them it isn't a prison, it's a world that she's made herself and she wants to stay.
I woke up in a place that gives me exactly what I wanted. An endless summer where we'll never have to grow up.
Her ultimate escape from the uncomfortable truth about growing up is right here, trapped inside this bubble. In Mabelland, she never has to face high school, never has to watch relationships change, never has to say goodbye to anyone. Summer just continues forever, exactly the way she wants it. But here's the thing about fantasy worlds. They only work if you can forget what you're avoiding, the real world. The real Dipper reminds her of everything Dippy Fresh can't replace. Their actual shared experiences, fights, and reconciliations, the way they've supported each other through genuine difficulty rather than manufactured fun. When he promises he won't take Ford's apprenticeship, that he'll just come home with her instead, that they'll grow up together, Mabel makes her choice. She chooses reality. The messy, uncertain, sometimes painful reality where people grow and change and move around and sometimes want different things.
Sincere sibling hug.
She says, and the bubble world starts to collapse. This is the resolution the entire show has been building toward. Not Dipper learning to act his age, or Mabel learning to be more mature even, but both of them learning that growing up doesn't have to mean growing apart, that you can want different things and still choose each other. Dipper gives up the apprenticeship because he's realized something more important.
Miss out on your awkward teen years? You wish.
He's still the kid who wants to grow up, but he's learned that growing up with someone you love beats growing up alone. And Mabel's still the kid who wants time to stop, but she's learned that avoiding change altogether means missing out on the people you're changing with. If you've ever been the kid counting down the days until you turn 16 to drive, 18 to be an adult, or 21 to drink, you're kind of like Dipper. Childhood feels like a waiting room where everyone treats your ideas like they're automatically less important because of the number on your birthday cake. If you've ever looked at your older siblings or friends changing and felt left behind, terrified that growing up means losing the things that make you happy, you're kind of like Mabel. And if you've ever been in a family where one person is racing towards independence while another wants everyone to stay exactly the same, you know how impossible it can feel to support each other through those difficult times. The truth Gravity Falls acknowledged is that there's no right way to feel about growing up. Sometimes 12-year-olds are already planning their careers and chafing at being treated like kids. Others are still sleeping with stuffed animals and genuinely can't imagine wanting anything different. Dipper would sacrifice anything to grow up quicker and become independent and search out all the mysteries in the world. Mabel would sacrifice anything to stay as a kid longer and find the mysteries there. That theme is exactly what united Gravity Falls' lesson about growing up. But here's what the show figured out that most of us are still learning. The problem isn't the different speeds of growth or the different viewpoints. The problem is when we stop walking together. Dipper could have taken that apprenticeship and learned everything Ford had to teach him, and it would have been great for him. Mabel could have stayed in the bubble world where nothing ever had to change and she had everything she ever wanted. Both choices would have given them exactly what they thought they wanted, right? But instead, they chose the messier option. Growing up together at whatever pace, with all the awkwardness and uncertainty in their futures that comes with not knowing what you're becoming, but knowing you don't want to become it alone. In the end, Gravity Falls didn't solve the problem of childhood ending. It just acknowledged that the problem was real, and that different kids might have completely different relationships with it. What was revolutionary about Gravity Falls wasn't that it had an answer to these feelings, it was that it took them both seriously. It said that neither wanting to grow up fast nor wanting to stay young forever is wrong, but that the best way through either impulse is with the people who love you enough to grow alongside you. Summer ends, childhood ends, but if you're lucky, you don't have to face that ending alone. But what if you didn't have to face those painful events at all? What if there was a way to just erase them? Mabel tried to escape into fantasy, but Gravity Falls explored something far more dangerous. What happens when you decide forgetting is better than healing? The answer will completely change how you see memory, trauma, and what it really means to grow up. Click here to watch it.